Hi, it's Miles Red Songbird in New York City. You're looking at a list of the places we are under protection of the Holy Royal family members. I'm not going to take the time to go through this right now, but as you can see, there are many places under protection of the Holy Royal family members. Okay, so the mainstream includes views, true news to you. The greatest discovery civilization has ever made, ? Alternative media TV channel. He said, is it the greatest deception? And he always says, remain vigilant. He says, something promotes this is about the aliens. Yeah, right. And this story about the aliens promotes globalism, degrades religion, and demoralizes the religious. I'll just read the notes I have for. There have been aliens here. Oh, okay. This is a story saying that aliens are here. Okay, and they call it the greatest discovery civilization ever made. Okay, this is what I'm telling you about aliens. There have been aliens here for millions of years, forever. Ever. Eve for energy. R for her. Eve, energy, her. Eve, her energy is forever. Since, let's decode since. She sees Isaac's enter North Carolina energy. She sees Isaac's enter North Carolina, N for North, C for Carolina, energy. In North Carolina, April 2018, you had Jesus Christ, Gorinda Singh, Dylan, love versus not love. The disciples, love versus the disciples who ganged up on and snubbed beautiful daughter of the sun, who's been beaten down by evil black Muslim groupie, it should be, and her husbands, including one who was a homosexual. Now, we should say that he was a homosexual, but as an infant, until he was 5 years old, he was very neglected. When his mother went to get him at 5 years old after she remarried and had someone to take care of her and him, he had been tied up. He had marks on his arms that showed he had been tied up. He still wore diapers. You see, so his babysitter was a woman. He probably hated her. The reason why he chose to become a lover of men and a hater of women. And what was I going to tell more about this? Okay, so they snubbed Jesus Christ disciples, some of them, the leaders, snubbed the daughter of the sun because she had been beaten down. She didn't have any teeth, and she, her clothes weren't expensive. She looked beaten down, and before that, she had been, a middle-class person, a normal, functioning person. But she had been homeless, so they snubbed her. And he married her and impregnated her that very same day. And he locked up heaven. He locked it because he was going to take them to heaven, to the ocean of bliss in heaven. And after they did that to her, he locked the door and he said, "You have to stay here on the earth." But he had already planned to turn earth into heaven. You know? Okay. So what does it say? Here's a clue from the UK. India has the best fabrics in the world. You go to a poor village, the ladies, the flowers, are beautifully turned out in soft, feminine, colorful saris. If you lady are 80 years old, you can be dressed beautifully. Even if you're 80 years old, you can be dressed pretty, yeah. Indians are not ageist. Ageist. Decoded. A girl, goal, Einstein, EI for Einstein, Saint, talk and share. A girl's goal, who is Einstein, the saint, does talk and share. That's Eve. Eve is Einstein. Or Einstein was Eve. Okay, what is this? These are some really important websites. I'm running into some websites with uncommon information. This one says, Q, the storm is real. Q says the storm is real. Resignations, sealed indictments, and pedo arrests. This is at the SGT report. And the man who was talking, his website is Patriots Soapbox on 24/7. And you can also get him on Twitter at 412 Anon 87. And some notes I took. Oh, Sean recommends you read one, or it might have been him. Read 1 second after. Okay, clue from the UK. A really helpful book if you want to get married, called How to Marry the Man of Your Choice. Okay, I tell you, this is also a really important video podcast. The woman's name is Catherine Austin Fitz, and she had a very important job. She reported to the Secretary of Treasury, and she had a big budget and a lot of employees. And she's telling us about the state of the economy. And let's see, I took some notes. Federal government running secret open bail, secret money for secret private armies, mercenaries. Isn't that frightening? The federal government is a tax collector. And she said, you have a back door into the federal government now. The war is about who controls the cash flow. The deep state is moving in on something. Who controls? She said, of all the noise that's made, she called them the shriek media. Of all, what she pays attention is to follow the money. That's how you get the truth. Who controls banking and private interests? That's what the battle is about. And about the wall. Trump is trying to get reverse globalization. Trump is trying to get reverse globalization. The president is not in control. There's only so much one person can do. Dirty tricks and dirty media being played on Trump more than she's ever seen in her life. So many people say that. They say, I never saw anybody in the White House mistreated the way the media mistreats President Trump. And that's because he's a saint, and they're Satan. That's right. Believe it or not, it's as simple as that. He was the Saint Gobind Singh Ji, the 10th Sikh Guru. And Pence was the 9th Sikh Guru, Teag Bahadur. They were both Jesus Christ conscience levels. Okay, and they were father and son. Mike Pence was President Trump's father at that time. NBC and CNN are acting as propaganda machines. In Washington, 2 conversations are going on. 1, how are we going to allocate resources? In other words, who's going to get the money? 2, the second conversation is a distraction. That's why I said she called it shriek media. She just follows the money. 2006 Fence Act. There were 2,000 additional deaths among drug cartels after this Fence Act was passed, because the hierarchy had been upset. Which banks got the money? Chuck Schumer is fighting for the New York banks. Nancy Pelosi is fighting for the Los Angeles and San Francisco banks. And the Texas banks, the Bushes are fighting for. $21 trillion has disappeared. Again, there's a private some of this money, she believes, is being used for private mercenary armies, which is frightening. What are they going to do with those armies? Turn them against the people? What else would they do with the armies? They already have armies to fight foreigners. Guys are addicted to dirty money, the tech business, and this bill here, FAST B56, the structure where you can do a bailout without anyone knowing you're doing it and who you are who's doing it. This bill is a backdoor to the Treasury. They're laundering money in through HUD as a laundering agency. They just changed to a fascist government. That's not spelled correct. Fascist government. They changed the accounting laws. You can just keep secret books now. And there hasn't been an audit of the federal government in 20 years. The Spider's Web. Is a great new documentary. She recommends this. Let me make sure I write it down so I can see it myself. I just want to point out to myself, take a look at that. Money has been disappearing from the U.S. government. And then she's talking to them. You refuse to produce audit statements for the past 20 years. Time for an audit of the federal government and of the Federal Reserve. Call your congresspeople, call your senators, and tell them you want an audit of the federal government. And because they lost $21 trillion, tell them, well, we don't know what happened to it. Are you crazy? $21 trillion? No, that's not acceptable. We want an audit. Infrastructure, pension funds, health care will be unfunded. $21 trillion missing. They can steal your... Now, with that bill I was telling you about, FAST B56, they can steal your assets whenever they want. Will you be able to own private property when this is all over? That's the question. She don't think so. This is really big. This is really serious. And this is where you go, Solari.com. That's her website. SalaryReport.com. 401k is getting creamed right now. You got to know what is going on. 2016 wrap-up. I think that's the name of one of her reports. How are you going to build resilience to protect yourself? 2. If we want to preserve the value and the governing structure we have to do we have to do something. Okay? This is about clean money versus dirty money. Okay, and they are trying that right now. They think they can just come and take anything you own. There's no such thing as private property anymore. If that bill passed, the video, it's happening. This is another topic. It's happening. Trump going to the heart of the elite pedophile network, the Vatican. Comorusan 714 channel. There's been a lawful conviction against the Pope. His first name is Jorge. I didn't get his last name. And so the conviction is against the Pope, the head of the Jesuits, and the head of the Church of England, the Archbishop of Canterbury. Then they've been convicted of murder, human trafficking, rape, torture of little babies. July 19, 2014, in the Common Law Court in Brussels. And if you look at this video, this is what he's telling you on the video. I only took notes. If you want to hear the whole story, go to this video. It's happening. It's called It's Happening. Trump going to the heart of the elite pedophile network, which is the Vatican. Not to lose heart, Jesus Christ, Gorinda Singh, Son of the Son, the Lord above, the highest authority, is here. Because that's what he said in the video. When is Jesus Christ coming? Jesus Christ is here. Okay? If he wasn't here, we'd be in worse trouble than we're in. Trump to end the Luciferian reign on earth. January 20th, 2017, the curse was broken. That was the day President Trump's inauguration. What now? Jesus Christ, Gorinda Singh, is here. He's head of the Holy Royal Family. Okay? Alright, later on in the video they said, stop the chemtrails, stop Monsanto. The pure and organic reign of Jesus Christ, Gorinda Singh, is reinstated. Our Heavenly Father, the Son, has reincarnated in Jesus Christ, Gorinda Singh, and his sister, the daughter of the Son, the star Evangeline, Eve Angeline, the Michelle Birdsong, Mild Red Songbird, YouTube video channel, Mild Red Birdsong, and YouTube video channel, Michelle Birdsong. You got that? There are 2 YouTube channels. Mild Red Birdsong. It's quite a few videos on here, and they're the latest videos. And then I did some other videos on Michelle Birdsong YouTube channel. And I also did some videos on Vimeo, Michelle Birdsong channel. And my Twitter is Mild Red Songbird at Baba G. Wee Wee. Baba G is another name for Gorinda Singh, is another name for Jesus Christ, 21st century. That's his form in the 21st century. Okay, mainstream includes views, true news to the marginalized. U.S. Postal Service discrimination based on political views. Derek Goodin is a victim, and this is at the Red Ice TV channel. Unprofessional political behavior. Again, I just took notes. I didn't take dictation, I just took notes. So you can go here to get the full story. It's gonna burn you. I mean, it's so unfair. The unfairness, it makes you want to smack somebody. Unprofessional political behavior was going on. Militant lesbian and her friend threatened Goodin. She said she would find a way to get him fired. That was the threat. His supervisor did nothing. She didn't even speak to the threatener. They spread the smear that he was a Nazi and a white supremacist. And he's wondering, what the fuck is going on? What is wrong with you? Why are you calling me names? Employees ganged up on him because he was not a leftist. That's why they were calling him names. He was going to a rally. I forget what it was about, but it was for the right. And that's when they went berserker. Because they thought that Hillary was going to win. And when Hillary lost, this one girl came to work. She didn't come to work the next day. She took the day off and she came to work the day after that. And she was furious. Daphne Lance was his supervisor. She was black. She refused to deal with him. She brushed him off when he told her he was being harassed. He filed formal complaints. She talked, at one point, Daphne Lance talked to the lesbian. After her talk, the lesbian came out and confronted him and said, people like you shouldn't be allowed to live. So you see, her talk did no good at all. The lesbian is a protected class. What kind of thing is a protected class? It should be right and wrong class, not protected class because you're a lesbian. That's crazy. She said, the lesbian said, they know who I am. They're not going to mess with me. So they harassed Goodin every day. He was hospitalized at one point for anxiety. The doctor said, if you don't relax and stop being stressed, you're going to have a heart attack. His postmaster did nothing. The postmaster was black. Goodin's wife and kids, he had 5 kids, were not slurred. What's that word? Smeared. Starting in October 25th. By January 10th, the HR showed up. It was an hour-long interview. One of the persons interviewing was black. You see, there's been diversity hiring, so that's why all these black people are in the post office. And Pastor James David Manning, who himself is black and has worked with black people for over 35 years in Harlem, said, black people are racist. They are the most racist. All of them are racist. It's just like Muslims. Most Muslims are anti-American because they're taught as little children, 5 years old, to chant, America's the devil, we hate America. Well, the same thing goes on in black households. They're taught to hate white people, and they hate white people. That makes them racist. Okay, and then they got the nerve to tell you black people can't be racist. That's crazy. Of course they can be racist. Racist is a person that dislikes, has a bias against someone because of their race. So they told him he was a victim when the HR showed up. His postmaster told him he had been a victim. Yet his postmaster started making snide remarks to him. He's black. The postmaster bragged about having anger problems and that he got sent from Alabama post office to Tennessee and was told never to return to Alabama because of his anger problems. He was so much trouble to them. The post office said none of this ever happened. They lied. He's been out of work since January 2018. The law enforcement arm of the Postal Service came to investigate him, not to help him. He thought they were coming to help him. Instead, they frisked him down and treated him like a criminal because these people lied and said he had done something wrong. Goodin had done something wrong. They told him if he put anything on social media, they'd be back. They also told him he can't go back to the post office or he'd be prosecuted. So he has no job. He wasn't fired, but he can't go back to the post office, so he can't work. And his wife has had a car accident. Usually it takes 2 to 3 weeks. I think that's for 3 weeks. It took 7 months for her to be operated on because they targeted her because of him. Because he's Christian, white, heterosexual, male. This is who not everybody, this is who the mainstream media and the shadow government and the dark state and the racists are discriminating against. And it's wrong. His wife had her car repossessed. He's got a wife and 5 children. She used to work at the post office. He's been ruined financially. All because he isn't a leftist. This is not right. We have free speech in this country. You better stand up for these people, because if you dare say something, even in your private life, they come after you. If it's not the leftist agenda. You can be a Christian going to church and happen to say you're against homosexual marriage, and they come after you, and they label you things, Nazis and white supremacists and all that. Activist leftists. These women were activist leftists. They went to the Women's March. People on the left are, like Madonna, said she dreams about blowing up the White House. Nobody came and investigated her. They let her say that. They let her get away. Now that's wrong. That's a threat to the life of the President of the United States. She should have been arrested, or investigated at least. Goodin was reported to the Labor Board as a white nationalist. So what if he's a white nationalist? He should be a nationalist. He shouldn't be a globalist and sell us out. The unions fought for him, but they did what they could do. When he filed for workers' comp, his supervisor sat on the paperwork. See how they just mistreated him? He had to have the union go in and tell the supervisor, you better file those papers or they're going to take action against him. That's the only reason he filed the papers. This guy really should be fired. It feels like a mob or a mafia is after him. That's what the interviewer girl said. They feel like these people in the post office are the mafia. People above me, said Derek Goodin, have an agenda. The government demanded access to his Facebook passwords now. The 11-year-old boy stripping at a homosexual strip club, they want, if he would comment about that, they would want to smear him. They drag it out. They try to crush you. They're dragging it out because they know he has no money, because they won't let him work. So he has a GoFundMe page. Send him some money, please. It's https://www.gofundme.com HCNPS4-trying. Okay, also, this is his email. Derek Goodin, Goodin 68 @gmail.com. He also has a Patreon account. Patreon.com/Derek Goodin. So send him some money if you're a righteous person and you want to help someone who is being bullied beyond belief. Yeah, they have enforced racial diversity. And what it means is no white people. Okay, on to the next. Oh, I gotta go. I'll make part 2. It's Mild Red Songbird talking to you from New York City.